All right, NFL live stream of consciousness. Thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to go ahead and talk about how I think Cincinnati can win the Super Bowl. And we're going to go over a couple of prop bets and talk about some things that are going on in the league. Definitely hit subscribe. If you have not, if you're a basketball fan, check out the Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown video that I did. And I'm going to be doing some videos like that with the NFL shortly as well. So let's go ahead and get into it. So in regards to the Bengals, obviously they came out of nowhere and they're here in the Super Bowl, beating the Chiefs. Once again, I think the NFL is sad. They've cried many tears about the Chiefs not being in this game in LA and the star power. But the Bengals are here, and Joe Burrow is someone who's dynamic and electric. You have Jamar Chase, who's someone that's dynamic and electric. So hey, who knows? It's not like market size care. Like this might be the birthing of a star franchise. I think that first of all, for the way that they would have to win is they've been playing really good defense, opportunistic defense with the picks that they got and turnovers that they got, especially versus the Titans and the Chiefs, very timely turnovers. And they're going to have to do that in this game. Matthew Stafford, he pretty much threw an arm punt to Jawiski's Tart, and my man dropped it. And I think that would have ended the game, and the Niners would be in the Super Bowl. And Matthew Stafford is going to give you a couple of those a game. I know that there's a love fest in the media. Once again, this is someone, he could win the Southern primaries. His media campaign is just tremendous. Things were terrible in Detroit, had Jim Caldwell as his coach, had Calvin Johnson, Megatron in his prime, Golden Tate in his prime, but somehow, some way, things were terrible in Detroit, and he might as well have been a refugee from a third world country. The struggles that he had to overcome to be a solid team. But if you watch the game, Matthew Stafford, he's going to give you some opportunities. Are you going to capitalize them? Bruce Arians said this is about a couple of quarterbacks. There's some quarterbacks, they're going to give you some chances. They're just that's the way they play. Matthew Stafford is going to give you some chances. So do they take advantage of those chances? Are they able to generate a pass rush? I think this game has to be a low scoring game. I think if this game is a shootout, eventually the pass rush of the Rams will kick in. The more snaps that the Bengals offensive line has to have in pass protection, the worse that it's going to be for them. So I think that they need to really shorten the game. Mixon's going to definitely have to be heavily involved in this game. So if you are a believer that the Bengals can win this game, I think you need to be putting money on Joe Mixon as a prop bet for Super Bowl MVP, because it's going to be a Joe Mixon game. If this game, I don't see a game where this is 400 yards passing by Joe Burrow and they're going back and forth, because once again, that pass rush is going to kick in. Joe Burrow was escaping a lot of sacks versus Kansas City. Those sacks were actually sacks versus the Titans. If he gets sacked 9 times versus the Rams, I think Aaron Donald's going to probably eat him. So it's not even going to be 9 sacks. He's going to be hurt by the 5th sack. I don't see him escaping those sacks of Von Miller and Aaron Donald like he was versus Chris Jones versus the Chiefs. So I think they're definitely going to have to run the ball. They're going to have to take advantage on whoever Jalen Ramsey is not guarding. They have a smallish corner, I believe Williams on the other side. They're going to have to take advantage of him. And you saw this in the Chiefs game. That was a T. Higgins game. T. Higgins had a lot of the bigger catches in that game. So I think T. Higgins is going to have to show up. And then defensively, I think they're going to, one, have to make plays on the ball, and two, the pass rush has to show up. The more guys that you can get in the face of Stafford, the better, because I don't think this is a game where their secondary can hold up on the back end. The Chiefs this year, I think they really missed Sammy Watkins in stretches. You saw in the overtime in the fourth quarter of the game when they were going to Brian Pringle and the other kid, the other receiver. they just couldn't get any production. And I think the Rams, on the other hand, you have a talent in Odell Beckham, you have a talent in Cooper Kupp, you have Jefferson. So I don't think they're going to be able to get away with the coverages that they were getting away with versus the Chiefs. So I think this is going to have to be a game where the Bengals pass rush definitely takes over, that they make plays on the ball. They're going to probably have to get an interception or two, a fumble, things of that nature. Mixon's going to have to run the ball really well. And they have, I mean, who's probably been the playoff MVP, their kicker. I think his name is McPherson. He hasn't missed the kick and game-winning kick versus the Raiders, the Titans, and the Chiefs. So, I mean, he's just been lights out. So with him, I think they definitely have an opportunity if they can keep this game a low-scoring game. I think the pressure will start to mount, and Stafford has not been has shown throughout his career he just doesn't deal with this pressure well. So I think that's how the Bengals win the game. And if you like the Bengals to win the game, I think T. Higgins, Mixon, and the kicker are three good prop bets to look at. And I'll pull it up here in a second to see what those, because I'm thinking those would be pretty tasty as far as prop bets. While I'm looking that up, I see that the NFL is going to be investigating Daniel Snyder again. I mean, Daniel Snyder, they keep saying if they can get rid of him, they would, but he's very litigious. I think Daniel Snyder is, you know, there's this theory called mutual destruction, the nuclear deterrent. If you fire your nuclear weapons, then I will fire mine, and that mutual destruction that we will both destroy each other keeps anyone from using that. I don't think Daniel Snyder plays in that way. I mean, I think he's definitely one for a kamikaze mission. So if the NFL ever tried to remove him as an owner, I wouldn't be surprised if he just drops a bunch of dirt on the NFL and causes the whole NFL to implode on itself. Any racist text he's ever got from a old owner or a new owner, any email that's been out of pocket where someone said something, he would drop it all. So I think that the NFL is in a rock and a hard place, because unlike Donald Sterling, who everyone despised and who everyone didn't talk to because of his, cheap ways that cost other NFL owners money, Daniel Snyder has been someone that has been clicked up to owners in the past. So there's just a lot of liability there. I think, there's rumors that he's the one that dropped the John Gruden emails to get back at Bruce Allen, who was a John Gruden friend. So, that's the rumor. So that's out there. So I don't know if anything's going to come of this situation. I mean, they're going to have their independent investigator look at it, but the last time they didn't even have them write a report. And I think they didn't have them write a report because they were so scared of what was going to be in the report. They never want the report to leak. So I don't know how this is going to be different this time, but it just seems like this is a never ending cycle with this Allen character. Goodell says the NFL fell short in diversity coaching hire. Okay. We talked about it on the last episode. There's not really anything you can do about that. There was a rumor, actually, I did want to talk about this. So there was a rumor that Byron Allen is going to be put in a bid. There's actually not a rumor. That he's going to actually put in a bid to own an NFL team. Now, he's only worth, I think, let's look it up. He's only worth $400 million, and Forbes is valuing the franchise at $3.75 billion. So there was a rumor that Roger Goodell and Robert Kraft asked him to put in a bid on a team in 2019, but it just doesn't seem like he has the money to play in this. So I just don't see how this could be possible. Because there's minority owners and there's majority owners. So obviously he's the face of the group, so he would be the majority owner. And shout out to the Mike Labardi podcast, but he was talking about it. He says that when you are the minority owner, pretty much you just get seats. Actually, this was the Dan Lobitar podcast. This is with the former Marlins GM who talked about this. When you're the minority owner, you just get seats. You don't have any say-so. The majority owner controls everything. You just get called when the team needs to raise money for certain things. And they set the price and they tell you what the price is that needs to be raised, and that's it. And I think you've seen in other situations, you've seen minority owners, they're starting to sell their shares in a lot of leagues because the juice just isn't worth the squeeze. So it'll be interesting to see who's going to put up this money to allow him. Once again, he's worth $400 million, which is a lot of money, but the Broncos are going to sell for $3.75 billion. That's what Forbes is estimating them. I don't see how he can cover this bill. I mean, unless the NFL gives him a loan for this, possibly the NFL could do that. If it's true that Roger Goodell and Robert Kraft asked him to do this, that might behoove the NFL to do that, to put up the money to cover it. But are they willing to go that far just to make him an owner? I don't know, because it covers a lot of their bases. A lot of people say, hey, this is happening because, there's 32 owners, all of them are white, or Shad Khan's case. I believe he is, I'm not sure what his, I think he's Indian, but, or Pakistani, actually. I think he's Pakistani, but in every other case, they're white. So is the one black owner going to change things? I don't know. Why do they want him in particular? Is he someone that's cool with NFL owners? I would think that if they would want an owner, it would be Jay-Z. Jay-Z, who helped him out in the Kaepernick situation. Jay-Z, who does the halftime performances, so he already does business with the NFL, and that could be his thing to set up the performative aspect of it to make sure that the brand stays popular in hip hop culture, which is American culture, which is global culture. So I would think it would be him. He has a higher net worth, but even in that case, I think Forbes, Jay-Z net worth.
Here's what I found.
So Forbes has him at 1.4 billion. Again, the Broncos are valued at 3.75 billion. So that's all of his tangible assets. He would have to liquidate everything. He would have to liquidate his shares in Rock Nation, his shares in that's with his that's with his art, which I don't see him selling. That's just with so many different things that he would have to liquidate all of that to have that 1.4 billion. And even then, that's not half of what the NFL ownership costs. So it would just be interesting to see who they did. But I saw that last night, and that he's going to submit a bid. And I'm interested to see the dynamics of that. Is he going to be a majority owner? Is he going to be a minority owner? Who's going to be putting up the majority of this money? Is this going to be a loan that's placed on him? Is the NFL going to back him as the owner? It's just interesting to see, because these franchises have exploded in value, and it's just, there's not, I think there's only one African-American who has enough money, who has enough value to purchase the team. So it would be Robert Smith and David Stewart. Robert Smith and David Stewart. There's two Nigerian, Nodikere Less, and Aliko Dangote and Micah Duniga, but I'm not sure if they're interested in owning an NFL team. As a Nigerian, I'll tell you that we care more about the circular football than the oblong one, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So yeah, I mean, I just thought that was interesting. I know. I remember when the Panthers came up for sale, Diddy was interested in buying it, but his video that he came out, he says, the first thing I'm going to do is rectify the Colin Kaepernick situation. And I'm just like, Diddy, one thing you need to understand, fam, is that the NFL owners have to approve it. Once again, that's not just a black thing. In MLB, the owners denied Mark Cuban the opportunity from becoming a baseball owner when the Cubs were up for sale because they didn't like his antics. Baseball is very, they throw baseballs at you when they think you're doing too much. And that's part of the game. A pitcher will throw a baseball at you at 80 miles per hour if he thinks that you celebrated too much. So Mark Cuban, who ran onto the NBA court, Mark Cuban, who called out commissioners, and he slowed down from that a lot lately. But even then, this wasn't that long ago. They said, "Nah, we don't want you, fam." So, Diddy, coming out saying that type of thing, they're like, "Nah, hold on. we don't see this as something that we need to rectify." So, some of the prop bets that I liked. I like the non-quarterback winning MVP. That's plus 230. What I mentioned earlier, I think that Mixon definitely has a chance if you like the Bengals. T. Higgins has a chance. I think that both receivers on the Rams, the two outside receivers, and particularly Odell Beckham, has a good chance. I don't see this as a game that Stafford just lets loose. Once again, I think he has one of the best media campaigns in the NFL. The way that they're just trying to make him into some golden boy who overcame so much coming out of the Detroit Lions hellhole, the third world country that is the Detroit Lions, when he had a Super Bowl coach in Jim Caldwell, when he had Megatron, when he had Golden Tate in his prime. I just don't see him, lighting it up. Even though they skew towards quarterbacks, I don't think he lined up. So I think that's a really tasty bet. Aaron Donald, Von Miller, the way that their offensive lines have been so porous, the Bengals, 9 sacks in a game. I think, if Aaron Donald has a 5-sack game, which is not out of the realm of possibility, they would have to give it to him. So I think that's definitely a prop bet that you should look at. What other prop bets do I like? There's one on here, and the computer is not long. Internet starts to move slowly at this time of year, which leads me to another rant that I have about football being on Amazon next year, which I don't have a problem, but I just don't really understand why they're forcing that on us. Largest lead of the game, 14 and a half points. I think that's a tasty one. It's minus 115. So it depends. If you think this is going to be a close game, you pound the over. You pound the under, excuse me. I know a lot of people think it's going to be a close game, so that's definitely a prop bet that you should take. Shortest touchdown in the game will be under 1.5 yards. These are both teams that run the ball. So I would take the under on that one. And which team will have more sacks? The Rams are minus 225. I think that's just a tasty one. I'm just giving you money away on that. So I like those three. So I'm going to have more extensive prop bets on Friday once I pick the game. But those are a good 3 stars. But I really, really like the Super Bowl MVP being a non-quarterback. I think that's something plus 230. I think that's still the money. So definitely look out for that. Thank you for tuning in. NFL live stream of consciousness. Game is a game. I'll get at you soon.
So what's up, man? What's up with you otherwise,
The game is a game.
Always.